you're holding a shoebox. Between the factory that made what's inside it and the moment it reached your hands, this box passed through a dozen people you will never meet, and you're trusting every single one of them. This is the resale world. A pair of sneakers leaves a shelf at retail for $200 and shows up online that night for $2,000. Hype drops, restocks, celebrities walking the aisles with a camera crew, one video, millions of views, money moving fast enough that nobody in the room is really counting shoes. And in a market like this, the product isn't the only thing being sold. What's being sold over and over is credibility. That's the one rule the entire resale economy runs on. A store's whole reason to exist is that it checks the shoe so you don't have to. The most valuable thing a sneaker store owns isn't its inventory, it's the fact that you believe it. Break that and you don't have a store anymore. You have a pile of boxes nobody can verify. But what happens when the store everyone trusts to check the shoe is allegedly the one making it impossible to trust anything on the shelf? This is CoolKicks. For years, arguably the most famous sneaker store on earth, the place the biggest streamers and athletes came to film. And in July 2026, federal prosecutors laid out a version of events in which one of its co-founders was allegedly running the exact opposite of the thing the store promised. But to understand how the most trusted name in sneakers allegedly ended up here, you have to go back to where CoolKicks began. CoolKicks grew up on Melrose Avenue in Los Angeles. It built something most resale stores never get, a name. Celebrity walkthroughs, a constant camera, consignment volume that turned a storefront into a landmark. If you were a sneakerhead, it was the safe pair of hands. And in this story, that reputation is not a background detail. It is allegedly the mechanism the whole thing ran on. Now go to Memphis. Around July of 2021, according to the federal indictment, something started happening inside one of Nike's main distribution warehouses. To see what, you first have to understand how that warehouse is supposed to work. Imagine that you order a pair of Jordans directly from Nike. Somewhere in that Memphis warehouse your pair already exists, sitting in a carton with thousands of others. Every box carries a barcode, every carton has a destination, and when your order comes through, the system prints a shipping label, the label goes onto the box, and UPS carries it to your door. The entire system rests on one quiet assumption, which is that the label on the box is telling the truth about where the box is going. Now change one thing in that process. Before the box ever leaves the building, somebody quietly places a new label over the one that is already there. The shoes are still real, the box is still real, and the barcode still scans. It is loaded onto the truck and delivered exactly as it would be on any other day, and the only thing that has become a lie is the destination. Instead of arriving at a Foot Locker, prosecutors allege, the box travels to an address that the operation had already chosen. Swapping that label solves exactly one problem, and it immediately creates the next one. A label is only a piece of paper, and the man prosecutors describe as the organizer, Roy Harvey Jr., was printing his labels in Los Angeles through a company he ran called RHJ Global. Harvey did not work for Nike, so he could not walk onto a warehouse floor in Memphis and place his own label on a box. That raises an obvious question, which is how a label printed in Los Angeles ends up on the right carton in a warehouse 1,200 miles away. Somebody has to be on the inside, and according to the indictment, somebody was. A floor manager named Michael Perkins allegedly smuggled the labels into the building and handed them to 4 other employees, whose job was to place the right label on the right carton before it entered Nike's normal shipping process. Harvey allegedly told Perkins which cartons he wanted, Perkins passed the labels down, and the crew applied them. Nothing about those packages ever looked wrong, and that is what made the operation so difficult to detect. Even a clean swap leaves a hole, because a package is sometimes flagged and held inside the shipping network, and a held package requires paperwork proving that whoever is receiving it actually bought it. Prosecutors say that gap was filled as well, allegedly with fabricated invoices designed to make a stolen shipment look like a legitimate purchase so that a held box could be released. At this point, the box carries a real label and matching paperwork, and it is moving toward one of the predetermined drop addresses scattered across the country where co-conspirators could collect the cargo once it landed. That solves the last technical problem and leaves the largest one, because stolen shoes are worthless until somebody converts them into clean money. Between May of 2022 and January of 2024, prosecutors say this group successfully ran 1,860 fraudulent labels through that one warehouse. That figure does not describe 1,800 pairs of shoes. It describes 1,860 boxes, each one packed with multiple pairs, sometimes full-size runs of a single shoe. A machine this clean does not get caught because somebody outsmarts it. It gets caught because it grows. This one ran for roughly 3 years, with a crew working on the warehouse floor and a national web of drop addresses, and every rerouted box had to carry one of those labels through a system that quietly records everything. The first crack came on January 27, 2024, when police arrested Roy Harvey Jr. in Los Angeles, in the same case that led to a raid on the reseller Project Blitz, where authorities allegedly found dozens of cartons of stolen Nike product. For the first time, investigators could physically connect a redirected shipment to a specific person. Most versions of this story would end there, with the organizer in custody, but this one did not. Nike interviewed Perkins and placed him on administrative leave, and prosecutors say he continued feeding labels onto that floor for months afterward. A second man, Keith Cannon, allegedly opened an entirely separate shipping account under a business called Valid Kicks and began printing his own labels. The operation did not depend on a single person, and removing one only revealed that another was already running. By the time investigators finished counting, prosecutors alleged that more than 3,000 fraudulent labels had moved product out of that one warehouse. Through all of it, nothing looked wrong from the outside. Nike was still shipping shoes, UPS was still delivering them, and the resale market was still growing. A customer walking into a store to buy a pair had no way of knowing where that pair had been a week or a month earlier, because that is precisely the arrangement a resale store offers. You are not supposed to have to ask. What finally unraveled the case was Harvey's phone. Investigators went through his messages, his payments, and his delivery addresses, and a scattered set of raids that had appeared unrelated resolved into a single map of 12 people, covering a floor crew, 2 label printers, a delivery network, and a row of resale businesses at the end of the chain. The remaining raids followed, including the one at CoolKicks, which was searched in the middle of a live stream in a clip that spread across the internet within hours.
Chat, I don't know what the f is happening. Did somebody swat us?
For months, the community had the story backwards because nearly everyone assumed the raids involved counterfeits, and stores were dragged online for selling fakes. That was never the allegation. These were real, authentic Nike shoes, which is the far more unsettling version of the story. In July of 2026, the indictment was unsealed, and 12 people were charged with offenses including conspiracy, interstate transportation of stolen property, and wire fraud. CoolKicks responded publicly. The company said that its co-founder, Bereket Abraham, denies the charges. The store could truthfully tell you most of its shoes were exactly what they claimed to be, and prosecutors could truthfully tell you some of them weren't. Both of those can be true, and you, holding your one box, are standing in the space between them with no way to know which side you landed on. So go back to the very start. You're holding a shoebox, a dozen people you'll never meet touched it before you did. And the thing that's actually gone now, whatever the jury decides, whatever happens to any one defendant, isn't your money. It's the ability to hold the box and simply believe it,